When Vijay's TVK swept Tamil Nadu's 2026 election, winning 108 seat in its first contest, shattering 6 decades of Dravidian duopoly, parts of the right were quietly celebrating. They said it was the end of Dravidian politics in the country. After all, for the first time since the DMK came to power, with C.N. Annadurai at the helm in 1967, a party sans the name Dravida has come to power in Tamil Nadu. Vijay positioned DMK as the Thiya Sakti, the dark force, and won. One shouldn't jump the gun and declare him anti-Dravidian. Not yet. Let's talk about the schemes of TVK first, because this is where the MGR-Jayalalithaa echo becomes impossible to ignore in Vijay's politics. MGR built his politics on one foundational idea: the state as the protector of the poor. Significantly, Vijay's own speech began as someone who has known poverty and hunger. A personal register the MGR has mastered, and Jayalalithaa took it further. Gold for brides, mixers, grinders, laptops for students, Amma canteens. Now look at Vijay's manifestos. 2,500 rupees every month for women heads of household. 6 free LPG cylinders, free electricity, 8 grams of gold, and a silk saree for brides from 4 families. With the government explicitly cast as the elder brother stepping in for every girl's wedding. A gold ring for newborn, 100 residential schools named after Kamaraj. This is not new politics. This is the same politics, wearing a new face, speaking a new language, but running on the exact same OS. System that Karunanidhi, Jayalalithaa and Stalin perfected. And there is the coalition Vijay built to govern. TVK won 108 seats, short of a majority. So who came to his aid? Congress, VCKs, Communist parties. Not despite Vijay's politics, but because of it. While there have been rumors of alleged talk between TVK and AIDMK, one can only go by what people eventually do. At his swearing in, Vijay committed to delivering a secular and socialist government. In an otherwise emotional and performative post-oath statement, those were the only words that carries any ideological weight. And what are the tenets of Dravidian politics? Social justice, secularism, women's empowerment, all of which are squarely part of TVK's promises too. Perhaps what the song is actually celebrating is the conspicuous absence of anti-Brahminical rhetoric, TVK's actions and speech. The appointment of P. Venkata-Ramanan, hailing from Mylapore as the educational minister, has only reinforced that reading. But one shouldn't forget that Anna Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam, a party founded on Dravidian soil, was headed by J. Jayalalithaa, a Brahmin. So, the precedent for a non-stereotypical Dravidian leader isn't new. Vijay may have skipped adding Dravida to his party's name. That doesn't necessarily make his ideology less Dravidian. More importantly, TVK's ideological charter explicitly draws from Periyar, Ambedkar and Kamaraj. He called the BJP his ideological enemy, not a rival, not an opponent, an enemy. In September 2024, before a single vote had been cast, Vijay walked into Periyar Thidal on rationalist leader's 146th birth anniversary. He took off his slippers, he garlanded the statue, he stood in the scorching afternoon sun and paid his respect to a man who would have found such reverence deeply ironic. And then on May 10, 2026, the very same day he was sworn in as the CM, Vijay went back to Periyar Thidal. Think about that choice. He had the entire symbolism of historical victory at his disposal. He chose to spend the first few hours as a chief minister standing barefoot before a rationalist who rejected all ritual. That is not an accident. That is not just optics. This is a man who has read Tamil Nadu's political grammar with absolute fluency. Because in this state, visiting Periyar Thidal is not a contradictory to faith, it is the faith, the secular faith, the Dravidian faith. And every serious CM has genuflected before it. So the right celebration over Vijay's triumph would be premature. This is the same Joseph Vijay who was visiting churches and temples ahead of the election. TV channels called it temple run. So how does one make sense of this, the coexistence of Dravidian ideas and personal spiritualism? I would like to recall a frame from the Tamil film Meyyalagan. Periyar's photo garlanded right next to Murugan's. That is not curiosity, that is the entire explanation. Periyar, for those who need a reminder, was a radical rationalist, a man who smashed idols in public, who called God a fiction and religion a tool of oppression, who spent his entire life fighting very impulse to worship. And yet, here is he, garlanded, revered, almost deified. This is the central irony of Tamil Nadu political culture. The man who fought idol worship has himself become an idol. The rationalist has been ritualized. And far from being a contradiction, this coexistence of Periyarist thought and folk faith, of Dravidian politics and temple bells, this is Tamil Nadu. It has always been. Tamil Nadu has always known how to hold these contradictions together. How to be a rationalist and reverent, how to be anti-caste and yet temple going, how to vote for secularism and still seek blessings. Vijay didn't create the synthesis, he just stepped into the space it had always kept open.